Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahi, amma ba'd. It's your brother Abu Abbas, and it's a very beautiful evening here in the Gambia. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. I want to use this time, and hopefully it's not going to take a long time, to address a point. And this is something that me personally, I don't tend to do. You don't find videos on my channel of me, addressing things directly and, responding to comments and stuff like this. However, this time, I thought that it was somewhat necessary. About a month ago, we put out a video speaking about Hijrah to the Gambia and some of the things that, they seem to bother me, etc. And the video, it did relatively well. It got about 6,000 views or 16,000 views taqriban, which is good in comparison to some of the other videos that I've put out. Maybe about 800 plus likes, 200 plus comments, etc. So, whatever you do, any khair that you do or whatever you try to push out and propagate, you're always going to find people who try to bring it down. This is what happens, yani. And Allahul Musta'an. Sometimes those that have something to say, they have a point. But many times those that have something to say, they don't have a point in reality. So there was an individual who commented on the video. And for the fact that so many people commented on the video likewise, perhaps, many people saw his comment. And I thought that, due to the doubts that he was posting, this is something that I want to address. I did try to find his comment again, but I couldn't find it. Allah knows best. Maybe he chickened out after I, said to him that I'm going to make a video responding, etc. Maybe he deleted it. Allahu A'lam. His name was Max something. Max, I don't know. Yani. But Alhamdulillah, I screenshotted his message. So he said, all Muslim countries are better than Gambia, Senegal, Mali, etc. He said, in Africa, I can only recommend Mauritania, Morocco, Algeria, and Somalia, and Egypt. And then I responded to him, and he said, no, it's a fact that Islam in West Africa is not strong like in Arab country. He said, like in Arab country. Or Afghanistan, if you deny it, then you are a liar, akhi. Put the Al-Asabiyya on the side, it's a fact. I am African by myself. I went to Kenya, Tanzania, Gambia, and Senegal, so I know Africa, I saw enough. So this is what he said. And Allahul Musta'an, as I said to him in the comment, I said to him, this comment is screaming ignorance. It's screaming ignorance, and this is the reality. I said, firstly, I hope you've lived in each of those countries long enough to make such a bold statement. Secondly, I'm going to do a video, ... and I can't see the rest of what I've written. All Muslim countries are better than Gambia, Senegal, and Mali. Now, all Muslim countries. How many Muslim countries have you been to? How many Muslim countries have you been to? Okay, you mentioned in the other comment, that you've been to Tanzania, Gambia, Senegal, etc. You've been to these countries, Jayyid. Lakin, is that enough for you to make such a general ruling and say all Muslim countries are better than, the ones that you mentioned? That's the first thing. How many have you been to? Now, a statement like this, the reason why I said that it screams ignorance is because, okay, he said, many Africans even have shirk in their belief. Okay, or he said their beliefs. But he said many Africans even have shirk in their belief. Sahih. Now, you said that Morocco, mathalan, is one of the countries that you recommend in Africa. Tayyib. Is Morocco in Africa? Yes, it's in Africa. It's in Africa. Now, I'm not sure. Did he say Morocco is one of the countries? He hasn't lived there. Tayyib, I've lived in Morocco. Not for a long time, but I lived there. Tayyib, I lived there for some time. And, anybody who's lived in Morocco, especially in particular areas, will know what I'm talking about. There is shirk in Morocco. There is open shirk that occurs in many of the masajid in Morocco. Now, to clarify, me saying this is not to speak bad about Morocco. Al-Maghrib is a beautiful country. Wallah, it's a beautiful country. And, it's from the places that if a person has the ability to move there, and, that place, it facilitates them and their situation and that which they're trying to achieve, then I would definitely recommend moving to Al-Maghrib. It's a beautiful country. But I'm just trying to make a point. On one hand, look how it's biased, yani. He critiqued Gambia And I'm only going to speak about Gambia. I haven't been to Senegal, even though it's Qarib, it's up the road basically. Nor have I been to Mali. But I'm going to speak about Gambia. You critiqued Gambia and you said that many Africans have shirk in their belief. So I'm assuming that's one of your points of criticism towards the Gambia. طيب. Why does that not apply to other African countries? Also the ones that you recommend. Al-Maghrib, the shirkiyat over there without a doubt. Mauritania also, which is close to Gambia, also has shirkiyat without a doubt. طيب, and I haven't lived in Mauritania, but I definitely know people that have lived there. And they can attest to this. I'm not saying that the place is a place of shirk. There's a difference. Before somebody takes what I say now and say, look, he's saying that Mauritania, he's saying that Maghrib are lands of shirk. I'm not saying this. But without a doubt, these places, they have shirk. You go to the masjid and they're reciting burda. This poem, well-known poem that has shirk all throughout it. Allah musta'an. And other than that, sihr. People love to say, and I believe somebody else said this in the comments also, Allahu a'lam, that, in Gambia, they do a lot of black magic and this is something that is rife and widespread. And we're going to do a video speaking about this specifically. But again, are you critiquing Gambia for one thing and ignoring the sihr that occurs in other places that are also in Africa, but countries that you recommend? You said you recommend Al-Maghrib, you said you recommend Mauritania, you said that you recommend, where else did he say he recommends? He says Algeria, I can't speak about it. Somalia, I can't speak about it as such. Misr, I've lived in Misr for years, over 6-7 years in Misr. You can go to Mathalan, and I'm not trying to cause any offense, wallahi again. I'm not trying to cause any offense, but it's a reality. There are some things you can't shy away from. طيب, go to Masjid Hussein. Go to Masjid al-Hussein. طيب, if you know about the masjid, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then research it. I'm not going to give any information here. I don't need to. Go away and research it. And find out what happens in Masjid Hussein as it relates to the shirk akbar that you're going to find in that masjid. So it's unfair for a person to make a criticism for one land and in the same breath praise another land, but that land has some of the same issues that the other place has. That's not fair. And the reason why I'm making it into a point is because, Gambia is it's a very tiny country. It's a tiny country. It has some 2 million population, which is extremely small in comparison to where I'm coming from, the UK, around 8 million, or where I previously lived in Al-Qahira, Cairo, some 10 million, 2 million. And it's a country that is very much overlooked. And walhamdulillah, it's a Muslim country. It's a Muslim country. طيب, the population of Muslims in the Gambia is maybe 95, 96%, I'm not sure, but it's very high. Which as a percentage, subhanallah, is higher than the percentage in Misr. I'm not saying that there are more Muslims, nor am I even saying that the Islam is stronger in Gambia than it is in Misr. I'm not saying this, but I'm making a point. The percentage of Muslims in the Gambia, which is not known to many, is more than the percentage of Muslims in Misr. It's a Muslim country. So the fact that it's a Muslim country means that just as we can say, okay, look, I'm going to consider moving here, going there, going to Misr, going to As-Saudiya, Harrasaha Allah, and other than that to try and migrate and make Hijrah. What about the Gambia? Why is it overlooked automatically? Okay, why is it overlooked? When here you can hear the adhan, you can pray your salawat in the masjid, you can raise your family and educate your family upon al-Islam. And other than that, and not only that, and that which I want to make mention of here is that the thing that a place like Gambia has over other countries is that it provides you, or it gives you that opportunity to develop yourself and your family in the far future in ways that other lands are not offering. How many places can you go to as a foreigner, meaning one who doesn't hold that country's ethnicity, and say, okay, look, I'm going to own a land, I'm going to own a business, I'm going to own a house, or other than that, and it's so easy generally. طيب, and you can become a resident like that. Yani, how many places can you go and, establish this? The things that we are currently working towards here in the Gambia, we tried in Misr. And Misr, wallahi, is a beautiful country. Also, I love Misr. Misr is dear to my heart. I spent years in Misr. I benefited tremendously in Misr. Alhamdulillah. But some of the projects that we are currently, carrying out here in the Gambia, and now we are seeing coming into fruition, they are actualizing in front of our faces. We were never able to do it in Misr. That's a reality. So when somebody comes with their jahl, their ignorance, and they make a statement like, all Muslim countries are better than the Gambia, then this has to be addressed. Because what do you mean, barakallahu feek, when you say better than? Better from which angle? Naam, better from which angle? طيب. So somebody's going to say, okay, look, in the Gambia, the people are jahil, the people are ignorant. Okay, ignorance is everywhere. Ignorance is everywhere. Most of the people in the dunya are ignorant. This is a reality. Naam. But the question is, okay, the ignorance that they have, are you able to rectify it? Are they going to listen when you speak to them and give them da'wah? This is the question. Or are they going to be stubborn? This is the question. And alhamdulillah, especially moving forward as the place develops, and people are becoming more, what is the word? They're becoming more aware of different cultures and stuff like this. People, they listen. They listen. Naam. They say, okay, look, but in the Gambia, somebody said, Allahu musta'an, the women they dress half naked. Akramakum Allah. This is what they said. Okay, طيب. So basically, you're saying your point of criticism, ya akhi, not the same brother, somebody else, is that, okay, look, forget the Gambia. Why? Because the women there, they don't observe the hijab al-shar'i. Okay, the correct hijab that, as it should be worn in accordance to the sharia. طيب. Excellent. وَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ Sahih. If you differ in anything, return it back to Allah and His Messenger. That's better for you. Now, so you mentioned the hijab al-shar'i. Okay. Again, Al-Maghrib. And I'm mentioning these countries because one, I've been to these countries, I've lived there. And two, these are the countries that the brother mentioned, the other brother. Okay, if you go to Al-Maghrib, okay, will you or will you not see women there that are not dressing in the correct hijab? And I don't mean just wrapping the head, or even somewhat abaya or other than that, but I don't mean with the neck out and maybe the arms out and part of the legs out. That's not what I'm talking about. The hijab al-shar'i. Will you or will you not, in some places of Al-Maghrib, find women that are not dressing properly? Or in some places of Misr, find women that are not dressing properly in jeans or other than that? You will find it. You will find it. That are not wearing the correct hijab shar'i. You're going to find it. So why, again, I'm asking, why is it that this attack is just on Gambia or these, parts of West Africa that are just somewhat brushed to the side? It's not fair. Tayyib, if you go there, the people are going to scam you. Okay, you think you can't get scammed elsewhere? Is that what you think? Who told you that? Of course you can get scammed. You get in a taxi and they see you as a foreigner, your English is clean, and then they charge you more than they will charge the normal. It happens. Nowhere is perfect. That's the haqq. Nowhere is perfect. وَأَتَحَدَّاكُمْ. Give me one place that's perfect. And when I say perfect, that means without any fault. None. Even today, subhanAllah, if you mention the Mamlaka, if you mention Mecca and Medina, may Allah preserve these lands. Okay? Somebody's going to come from another place and say, la, you can't go there. Why? Because the rulers are this, the rulers are that. That's what some people will say. As for me, I'm going to say, no, don't do this. Tayyib. The way of the Muslim is not that you start picking out the faults of the rulers left, right and center. No, I'm going to defend them in that regards. The same way that I'm defending Gambia today. No, do things the correct way. But the point is that somebody's going to come and say, okay, look, the rulers over there or this or that, and they're still going to find fault. There are some people that say there's no Muslim country today, okay, that you can make hijrah to. Allah musta'an. I think I've mentioned enough in that regards. The final point that I would like to mention is that alhamdulillah, since living in the Gambia the past 2 years, I found it to be a beautiful land. There's been ups and there's been downs without a shadow of a doubt. But the pros, the things that have been up for me by far outweigh those things that have been, somewhat negative, or those, quote unquote cons, without a shadow of a doubt. Since moving here, I've been able to achieve things that I weren't able to achieve previously, things that I weren't able to achieve in Misr, things that I weren't able to achieve in Maghrib, and that's a fact. Since coming here, I've joined the Jami'atul Imam Al-Bukhari, that many of you have heard me speak about previously. I'm currently studying my bachelor's degree in Ilm al-Hadith. I'm currently in my second year, alhamdulillah. And other than that, my family, my wife, my children, they're studying. And we have a number of endeavors or projects that we're currently working on, and they're coming to life, as we said, in front of our face. And this is a ni'mah kabira. This is a huge blessing from Allah Azza wa Jal to have accepted Islam, some 15 years ago. And, to see all of that which I've seen since becoming a Muslim, and being able to leave the UK, a land of kufr and shirk, to now live in a land of Islam and be able to raise my family, then without a shadow of a doubt, وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. Mention and speak about the favors of your Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala, because none of this that I've been able to achieve, would I have ever been able to do it by myself. La, this is all from Allah Azza wa Jalla alone. So if you have any more points that you would like to see addressed, if you have any other questions, then feel free to send an email or get in touch on Telegram or on WhatsApp or other than that. And even though I take long to respond sometimes because I'm busy, subhanallah, I am busy, but I will get back to you bi-idhnillahi azza wa jalla. Wassalamu alaykum wa rahmatullāhi wa barakātuhu.